Hi guys, welcome back to another video. T-Kits Design. If you are new, welcome. Make sure that you like this video, you subscribe, and you ring the bell for notifications to be notified every single time I make another video just like this one. So today I just want to make a quick tutorial just to show you guys exactly how I do my baby burp cloths. This video has been highly requested by many, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly how I do mine. The baby burp cloth that I'm going to be doing is going to be similar to this one. It's just going to be a different applique, and I will be using different fabric as well. All right guys, without further ado, let's get started. All right guys, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to heat press just to iron and get the wrinkles off of the baby burp cloth. I did get this one at Walmart. This is the Gerber one. You can find it at your local Walmart. So let's just go ahead and heat press it just to get the wrinkles off of it. Just like that. You don't have to go too much because then we're going to iron it also once we're done with our applique. Okay guys, so that's pretty much what I'll be doing for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the heat and bond to my fabric. I already cut my fabric and I cut the heat and bond. Rough side goes down, and then for you guys that don't know and are new, this is the heat and bond that I use. I bought this one on Amazon. So we're going to use yellow and we're going to be using pink. All right. So this is just 3 seconds. All right. And it's just going to look just like this. And before you peel this off, you want to make sure that you let it cool. So we're just going to put this to the side, and now I did went ahead and I cut the fabric that I'll be using. The fabric, I cut it to be approximately 5.5 to 6 inches long, and then across I kind of measure it with my baby burp cloth. I normally do this, and then I just leave a little bit of extra on the sides. There's not like a specific measurement, it's just how you want it to be. I just don't want it to be too thick. I just want it to be approximately this length. So when I end up folding it and ironing it, it's going to be 2.5 to 3 inches wide. So the way I do it so that it's easier for me, I just fold the border in a little bit like this, and then we're going to heat press that. I found that this way is easier. Instead of taking it to the sewing machine and just sewing it down, I just heat press it and then it's done. And then we're going to flip it to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it a little bit. That's why it depends on how long you cut it. That way you can have plenty of room to just fold it and iron it down. All right guys, so once you do both top and bottom, then we're just going to go ahead and fold it in half. Just like that, and we're going to iron it again. Couple seconds. Now for my baby burp cloths, I found that I like the way it looks having fabric on both ends. So then we're going to do the same thing for the other end of the baby burp cloth. So you'll need 2 strips of fabric, just like so. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. I'm going to fold it. I'm using my Cricut press here, but you can also use a regular house iron. It doesn't really matter. This is just easier for me, so I'm just doing this to show you guys. But normally when I do my baby burp cloths, I already have this like preset, like the night before. I just do all of this, and then the next day I just have to do my applique and then sew the baby burp cloths. I don't have to do all of this because it is time consuming. I like doing it this way too, because then you get the center. So then when you're done and you're ready to sew the fabric onto the burpee, you open it, and then you already have your mark right here. That's the line. That's where you're gonna place your burpee, the burp cloths, and then you're gonna sew it. All right, so this part is done, guys. I'm gonna take you over to my machine, and then we're gonna start hooping the baby burp cloth and do the applique. All right guys, so I already hooped the stabilizer. I will be using, this is the 4x4 hoop. I'm using the tearaway stabilizer. I purchased this on Amazon, and it's the Bro Thread tearaway stabilizer. It works pretty good with the appliques. So it's already hooped. Now I'm just gonna spray it with my adhesive spray. That's that. And now we're gonna hoop. We're gonna float, actually. I'm not gonna hoop the baby burp cloth. We're just gonna float it. So you'll just fold it in half just like this, and then you'll just place it on your hoop just like this. I kind of eyeball it just to get the center of it. And then you just want to look at the lines and make sure you get a straight position here. I got a trick that works for me. I just put my fingers like right next to the seam right here, and then it has to be just like this one right next to my finger, and then once it's like that, I know I got the center. So right about there. So like I said, I normally do this with my fingers and just leave it like that. All right, once you feel comfortable with your placement, you can just bring it onto the machine. I have my design already loaded on my flash drive. It's up on the screen. I will be doing Little Miss Piggy for this one. Before you start your applique, you just want to make sure that you trace it just to see where you're going to be stitching out the design. And there you can also see if you're going to be like on the center or off, and it's pretty centered right there, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Normally if the design is smaller, you can also make it a little bit bigger, but I'm going to leave it just like that. And we're going to start. All right guys, we're going to start. Now it's time to switch out the colors. It already did the ears and the face. By the way, this is a new applique that I'm doing. I just purchased it. I bought this on Etsy. Hopefully it'll turn out good. It looks a little bit complicated, but I liked it, so I want to try it out with you guys. Now we're going to change our thread out. I like to print out this print because of the design, because then it tells you the steps, and you can actually pick the color that you need and go from there. I'm going to use the yellow color just because the last, after the placement stitches, it's going to do the hair, so it'll already be in there. All right guys, so it already did the first step. Now we're gonna put the applique here for the face. We're gonna hit start. Alright, so that's done. It's gonna stop for you to unhoop the hoop, and then you can cut out your little design here. So I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it looked like. Alright guys, so this is how it's looking so far. I already cut out the face. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the next part. All right, now I'm just gonna apply the yellow fabric, which is for the hair. Let's start. We're gonna take it out now, do the same thing. We're gonna cut around the hair, and then we'll come back. Okay guys, so the hair, I already cut around it. You can kind of see how it looks. Now we're gonna do the position stitch for the bow. And then for the bow, I'm going to be using heat transfer vinyl. Whenever you use heat transfer vinyl, you're just going to peel off the carrier sheet. this. This you can throw out, and then this is what we're going to be using for the bow. You're gonna lift it up. You're gonna place the bow. And we're gonna start again. I normally hold it just to hold it in place. You can also spray the back of the vinyl with a little bit of the adhesive spray, but you don't have to if you don't want to. We're going to heat press this at the end, so it's gonna be secured onto the burp cloth. Okay, so that part is done. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take it off, I'm gonna cut, and then I'll come right back. All right, guys, I already cut out the bow. Look how cute it looks. I think it's turning out super duper adorable. So I'm gonna go back on here. This is gonna take a couple minutes, guys, so once it's done with the hair, I can show you guys what it looks like and we'll move on to the next step. All right, guys, so this is the final result. I went ahead and I finished out the design just for the sake of the video. This is what it looks like. I think it turned out pretty good. So at this point, we're just gonna go ahead and unhoop it. And then since it's the tearaway stabilizer, we're just gonna rip this out. Just hold the stitches and be gentle. I mean, you don't wanna rip the stitches out. And I know a lot of people have asked me if I cover the back of the design. I really don't. Since I use the tearaway stabilizer, I just tear it away and I think it looks pretty good. You can just cut out these little threads that are just sticking out like that, but other than that, I leave it just like that. Now we're just gonna go on to the sewing machine so that we can sew on the fabric and then we'll be done. All right, guys, so now I just want to show you how I do the fabric part. I've done it a couple different ways, but I've learned that this is the easiest for me. So I opened the fabric up, I aligned it with the line, and then we're gonna just fold it back in half. Normally I try to make it where it's with the back there together. And then we're just gonna pin it down. When you pin it down, you wanna make sure that you go ahead and that you pin the back and the front of it. Just because I've done it before where I only pin the front, and then when I sew it, the back of the fabric here, it's not sewed, so then you have to go back and fix it, and it can be a little bit of a pain. So we're just gonna pin it along just the way I'm doing. Normally I try to do maybe like 3 at the top just to kind of stabilize the fabric in place and it doesn't move. And then for the corners, you see how I have like excess fabric? I don't need all of that, so I'll just try to cut a little bit there. So we'll do that now. And this is just how I do it. I mean, if you guys have a different way, you can feel free to leave a comment down below, but this is the way I do it and it's easier for me. So we'll get rid of that. And after I have this, I'm gonna start sewing. I start this way, upside down, just because then I can sew this, I can rotate it on the machine, do across, and then do here, and I'm done with it. So for the corners, I wanna show you guys real quick. Normally I just fold this in like that, and then with my scissors I'll try to get a nice square corner. You're gonna fold the top as well, and then you'll just put a pin just to secure it in place as well. So that's kind of how I do it. You just gotta play with it until you get like a nice square edge. I don't know if you guys can see it that well, but I hope you can. So that's it. It's nice and squared, and then at the top do the same thing, kind of fix the fabric up a little bit until it's nice and straight, so it'll look like that. So once I get it like that, I put a pin on it and then I take it over to the sewing machine just like that. And then once I get to the other corner, I'll worry about that, but for now that's it. I already have my sewing machine here ready, and it has, I did try to find a color that's similar to this, that way it can kind of like blend in and it doesn't stand out as much. The bobbin, I keep it white. I don't really bother with that. It's just gonna be on the back, but it's gonna be fine. All right, guys, I'm ready to start sewing. Just bear with me. I'm not a pro at sewing and I don't sew really fast, but the important thing is just to try to get a nice straight line and finish the cloth. I know I've seen a couple of videos where it says not to look at the needle because then that makes you go crooked, but then I don't know what else to look at. So if you guys have any tips for me, just let me know. I'm just backing it up a little bit just to secure the stitch there. And then once that's done, like I told you guys, I'll just rotate it, and I'm gonna do now this side. As you go, you just have to make sure that you do remove the pins. You don't want to sew too close to them or over them. It can break your needle. Okay guys, I'm almost towards the end of the fabric, so at this point I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the other corner. I'm just gonna fold this in, fold the top there, and then with the scissors, you can use it to kind of fix your corner there. Sometimes this can be a little bit hard. It's just getting used to it. The more you do it, the more you'll get used to it. I've done it a couple times already, so I don't mind it. But that's what you want. And then these corners, you can just tuck them in a little bit. That's what I normally do with my scissors. That's it. All right, we're gonna keep on sewing. All right guys, so I already finished sewing the ends of the fabric of the burp cloth. Now I'm gonna heat press it. I'm using B-Flex, so I have my heat press set at 305 degrees, and we're gonna press it for 10 seconds. If you don't have a Teflon sheet, you can use parchment paper. That's what I'm using right now. Ten seconds. All right. All right, guys, so the baby burp cloth is complete. As you can guys see, it turned out pretty good. I'm not that happy maybe with I'm just showing the fabric here. Overall, it turned out pretty good. The only thing with this one is just the fabric looks more boyish than the Little Miss Piggy here. And the only reason being is because we have Miss Piggy, but Miss Piggy got cut off. So, but overall, you guys get the point. I was just making this video just so that you guys can actually see how I do my baby burp cloths. If you guys have any questions, just make sure you leave it down in the comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Or if you have any tips or tricks that you guys have when you make these, you can let me know as well. I hope you guys found value in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.